Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from BoardGameCo, and this is the monthly board game upgrades and deluxifications video. As usual, this video series is sponsored by Top Shelf Gamer. They have a bunch of the things that are in this video, or one thing today. We've got these metal coins over here, we'll talk about those. But in general, they have a lot of various deluxifications, from upgraded resources, to metal coins, to sleeves, to inserts, an absolute ton of things on their site. I'll include a link to the site down below, and in fact, if you use that link, as well as the coupon code, if you use the coupon code, you'll get something % off, and if you use the link, it does help out the show. And with that, let's go ahead and start off with the monthly upgrades and deluxifications. Starting off, we have a very metal-focused video today. We have metal, minis, and plastic. I couldn't get the 4 M's. I couldn't get to 5 M's. I got 4 out of the 5 M's, but we have a bunch of things to get into, so let's start off actually with those coins that I kind of loosely touched upon. These are metal coins. I do these every few videos. I'll show like a different type of metal coins that Top Shelf Gamer has. Very often I have these mixed in with various games that I utilize. So for example, Foundations of Rome still has my favorite coins of all time. I believe they're actually for brass. They're brass coins. I use them in Foundations of Rome, and I think they're absolutely amazing. They're chonky, they're premium, they're so good. I highly recommend checking them out if you haven't. They are frequently out of stock on the site, unfortunately, but they are, if you can get your hands on them, like I've bought them as gifts. That's how good they are. I've bought them as gifts for other people. But past that, they have a bunch of other coins, and I've used them in a bunch of games, from Pirates to Egyptian. And over here, I just mentioned Foundations of Rome. Here's an alternative set of Roman coins. Over here, you can have a bag full of Roman coins that are just like, you know, well, different types of Roman types. So we have over here 3 types, I believe. Do we have all 3 types in this handful? It does not look like we do, which means we need to go ahead and pour out a few more. Here we go. We got these 3 types of coins over here, and we'll show you some of these again in a second. Let's just show you the 3 different sides. So we got the head side over here of the coins, like so, and then we have the tail side, like so as well. But those are going to be just generic Roman metal coins that are going to be useful for any game that involves Rome. You can use them for games like Antique Duellum, which I actually have a different set of coins. Actually, do I use these for Antique Duellum? I think I may be using. So one of the nice things about Top Shelf Gamer is you can buy coins in individual denominations, or you can buy bags that'll give you the various types you just want to compare and contrast. Not bags, I know I said compare and contrast. You can buy bags so you have an assortment of coins, or you can buy specific denominations. I believe these are generic metal coins I use for other games, but specifically the ones are the coins I use for Antique Duellum. So I think I actually do use. I have to double check which ones I use, but I think I use these ones. But yeah, these are metal coins. You can use them for any Roman themed game. Tribune. Oh, I should use them in Tribune. I think in my copy of Tribune right now, I believe I currently have a copy of viticulture coins, because the grapes and whatnot give enough of a theme that it could be Roman themed to a degree. So I think I've been using viticulture coins in my copy of Tribune, but I really should be using those Roman coins. I think they'd be a much better match. And again, Roman themed games are a dime a dozen left, right, and center, so there's many opportunities for you to use those. From there, let's go ahead and talk about miniatures. Miniatures over here. These are specifically from Revenant's Run. Revenant's Run is an active game found campaign. They sent these over, I guess, to show, which I'll do because I think they're cool. But basically, Revenant's Run is a bunch of STL printable files for, is it one? Oh my gosh, it's like a game system. 1 page something, or 1 something page, I don't know. There's a game system that you can use these printable STLs for, but they're just giving you a bunch of various miniatures and ways to customize and combine them, so you can, you know, have certain modifications to your vehicles or modifications to your miniatures. This miniature over here, you can have with different arms, different heads, different combinations of things. And don't take anything I say at face value, because it looks like the head's part of the body, so maybe you can only mix up the arms. But every miniature has different types. They have a bunch of bikers or whatnot on like speed bikes with different like lances and weapons and guns. And so you really are building out your entirely customized force. But there's 2 ways to do it. You can buy the STL files and print them yourself and really print out and construct your own units in these games. Or alternatively, they also have full-on miniature pledges. This is going to be the same sculptor as Wild Ascent, so Lazy Squire Games, if you've seen them from Wild Ascent, from Storm Sunder, from the War game, Ravage Star, Veil Touch, all that. So phenomenal sculpting, phenomenal miniature quality. Like this is like, you know, example what you have over here. That's gonna be a larger miniature. We also have, I have some bases here. These are not, I did not glue these on yet. But this guy over here, that's gonna be a smaller guy, regular, you know, 28mm. I assume maybe 32. Don't trust me on miniature sizes. I am not an expert. And then of course we have this little vehicle. And these are just some of the things they have. They have full-on tanks. They have some incredible things on the page. But this is just to give you an idea of the level of detail of what you can achieve with these. Like this is the stuff you can theoretically print out yourself, whatever 3D printer you have, and then try to construct your own version of whatever army you want in this. So these are from Ravage Star. Oh my gosh, not Ravage Star. Revenant's Run. Revenant's Run. I think that's it. Now I got confused because I said Ravage Star, which Ravage Star is the other. I'm pretty sure it's called Revenant's Run. If I'm wrong, I apologize. But those are going to be some of the miniatures for those, in terms of if you want to get a sense of what they actually look like and all of that. And with that, let's go ahead and move to Let's move to an insert. Let's do the insert last. We're going to do more metal. So we'll do metal, or metal, mini, metal insert. And then from there we have, that's plastic. The insert is plastic. This is Tesseract. Tesseract from Smirk and Dagger Games. I will have a review of this sooner or later. I've already played this, but I need to play it more. But part of what I got over here, and this is, I backed this game in order to get this myself. Like, they sent me a review copy of the game, but I don't expect companies to send me like deluxe premium stuff ever, and so I wanted this game, I wanted the metal dice of this game, so I backed the game in order to get the metal dice, for better and for worse, because I like the metal dice, but I like the plastic dice too, and the metal dice are not as premium as I was hoping they were, so for me it is a little bit of a mixed bag currently. So let's go ahead and show you how this works over here in Tesseract. The game itself is fun. We'll talk more about it in an actual full dedicated review. But one of the things you're going to be doing in the game is you're going to be going ahead and constructing your little surface where you're going to be stacking your dice. And you're stacking your dice onto a bit of a cube. Again, this is all stuff you'll see in the review if you're going through it. You have this kind of lazy Sunism thing that spins. So you're trying to actually put the dice, my bad, this goes on like that. This is going to spin as you go through it. You want the weight on it, but it is going to spin fairly nicely because you want to be able to see things as you go. Now, you could go ahead and build this cube with your regular dice you get in the game. And they look great. They look genuinely great. The colors are vibrant. They have this nice black line across them. So if we go ahead and assemble a cube of dice. Oh, I'm doing this wrong. I'm doing this the slow way that you would never, ever do. So let's go ahead and do this properly. We're going to go ahead and put this on here like this. And then we're just going to go ahead and take the bag. And we're going to go ahead and dump them in as much as possible. Now, this, you do have to like push and prod and poke a bit to a degree. But ideally, when all is said and done, you have a nice square of dice in there. I don't know how well. I'm going a little faster than I normally would because I'm trying to get it all in here. But I don't think it's working as well as it did because there's somewhere in this puzzle we're missing a die. But I don't know where it is. Feels like it's over there. So if we give it a bit, there we go. So you can give it a bit of a shake. You can kind of figure it out. And then we can unveil your block of dice over here. So that's going to be a normal setup, and then you can go ahead and spin it. You can be I'm going to go ahead and remove this die over here. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and remove this die over here. So you are slowly removing dice from the puzzle as you go, which is all great, except for one small problem. We're here to talk about the metal dice, so I'm going to show you those in a second. And the metal dice are cool. I just don't know if they're what I paid for them cool because I have complaints about them at the same time. So they are a premium upgrade. They do feel nice. I do recommend them, with the caveat that they are, in my opinion, they are more expensive. The cost of them relative to how good they are is not the balance I would have wanted, if that makes sense. Let's go ahead, and by the way, this is going to be my first time dumping these into this with this way, so let's see how this holds up. So we're going to go ahead and take the metal dice, and again, we're going to go ahead and start pouring these in. And keep in mind, I don't know yet how well these hold up either. I mean, I don't know how well these will hold up over time in terms of the metalness of things, and let's get those in. Again, this is where we want to try to push and prod and poke our way into getting all of these in here. There should be more holes. There we go. We need another hole. Another hole somewhere. There we go. So it does still work as far as that. You just want to give it a little bit of a wiggle, and then we go ahead and pull this off, and these are your metal dice. So the metal dice do look nice. The first problem is they don't have the lines on them. Like, I'm tempted to try to draw them on and see how well it holds up. Overall, the cube does support, like, I know there was concerns about the weight of the cube and will this, like, cardboard stand hold the cubes. So they're nice, but visually, I think these look a little better. I could be wrong. I think they look a little better as far as the colors, and these, like, don't match the proper colors of the game in terms of, like, the orange and whatnot. The yellow, blue, sure, all that, purple, sure. The orange versus red, very, very different vibes over there. But then additionally, the weight of them is another factor. These over here do not have the same heft of what I would expect from metal dice. Like, I've had metal dice in the past, and I want to say in other games, I want to say these metal dice have been more premium in their feel. These do feel nice. They are clearly metal. They're clearly nice. But I think, like, for example, the Hopper-Marcus dice from Chip Theory games, those dice are insanely premium. Now, to their credit, the amount of dice you get here for the price point relative to the amount of dice the amount the Hopper-Marcus dice cost, I think the difference in cost is clearly evidence of the difference in quality. So if you want to pay that price point, sure. But I will say, I guess because I've used other dice that I felt were a bit more premium, I was expecting this to be a drop more than it was. Still happy with them, but with that initial degree of disappointment at the same time. So it's like, oh, they're good, I like them. Also, I kind of wish they were a drop cooler, even if they are cool as they are. That's going to be the metal dice for Tesseract, which means, I'm going to go ahead and dump this back here as well, which means we are on to the next thing, which is going to be the metal mechs for Expeditions. Expeditions is a fantastic game. One of my highlights of the year for sure. You know, this is actually not sticking in properly, so we're going to dump this. We're going to get rid of that. We don't need that box. We don't need the remaining metal dice box for it. So I'm going to get rid of that. But Expeditions, along with DEI, are currently my 2 contenders for Game of the Year. I'm sure more things will come along. We still have several months left in the year, but for right now, as of right now, one of these 2 games is my Game of the Year. Both of them are in my top 10 list something. Unless we have a crazy blowout rest of the year, they're both my top 10. And this is the Ironclad edition of Expeditions, because a game like this game is going to be my collection for a very long time. If you watch my channel, you know that my collection rotates, and it always will rotate. That's the part of the process. I get games in, I find new things I love, which means old things have to go, and so games will always rotate in and out. But the difference between rotating games is the games I really like rotate, but the games I love, those don't rotate very often. It's not, there's no guarantees in life. I think like one of the games, I think if you've been watching the channel for the past several years, I believe I've only gotten rid of one 5 out of 5 game so far, meaning a game that I rated a 5 out of 5 in the 3 years of doing this. I think I've rated maybe, I don't know, maybe 15, maybe up to like 4 years actually. We're bordering on 4 years now. 4 years into the channel, wow. In December, it's going to be 4 years. 2019, 2020, no, 2019 to 2020, 2020 to 2021, 2022 to 2023, 2023 to 2024. So 20, 21, 22, 23. In December, it's going to be 4 years doing YouTube. Wow. Anyways, in the 4 years of doing this, the amount of games I've given a 5 out of 5, I don't have that number offhand. My guess, I give around 5 to 7 of them a year. So my guess is I've given around 20 to 25 games a 5 out of 5 in the time I've been doing this. I'd have to check the stats to find out more. And from those, one of them left my collection. One of them shifted down. That was Destinies. Destinies is a game that I loved and do love, but it was harder to table. The solo wasn't good enough, and the cooperative, it's not really cooperative, the competitive mode, I found it wasn't hitting the table as much, and other game systems I started to enjoy and appreciate came along that filled that need as well. So I both really like Destinies, while also being a game that did leave my collection. The rating did move down a bit over time, and it did leave my collection. I feel bad about that. When I love a game, I want that game to, when I give a game a 5 out of 5, I don't care if it does leave down the road, but like I want that game to be around for a while. I want that game to be something that I love and I care about, and you see that in the content, you see that in the gameplays, and the times I talk about it, and the amount of top 10 lists. I want you to know that when I love a game, I love a game. And the rest of the time, I like a game. I don't like a game. It's okay. It's better. It's worse. I want that kind of dichotomy there. But Expeditions is a game that I love. Expeditions is a game that's going to be here for a very, very long time. And Expeditions is a game, therefore, that I have upgraded versions of from the metal coins to the metal mechs, because these over here, we got some beautiful metal coins. I believe these are the same metal coins you'll find in Scythe. I don't know for sure because I don't have Scythe, but I believe these are the same metal coins you'll see in Scythe. But these are just the color scheme beautifully matches the game. They have a little bit of splash of blue mixed into like regular coin colors. These are beautiful coins. Like it almost makes me want to get Scythe so that I can have like the metal everything in Scythe. Like Scythe also has metal stuff. But more importantly, we have all this stuff over here. We have all these guys, these metal mechs. I'm going to show you all of these, and these are so nice. This is a premium upgrade for a premium game, but it is a good game, and these are nice. Like these are beautiful metal miniatures that have a degree of heft to them. Like if you're interested, if you like Expeditions, and Expeditions may or may not be for you. I mean, I do believe there are genuine, reasonable complaints around player count balancing. I think the game is amazing at 2 players. I think it's amazing at 3. Once you get to 4 players, I do think that there's concerns about those first workers. Like, I mean, perceptually to me, I do think getting workers early on, or at least one worker to play with, I think is a big deal. So there's house rules I'm sure you could implement if necessary, or alternatively, time will show that. I mean, I believe Stone Mountain Games has the presumption that getting a worker the first turn is not essential. Like the win stats don't support. I don't know if they've backed it up with stats, but in theory, if we had stats and we saw that the players who got a worker the first turn and the players who got a worker not the first turn did have a similar degree of balance around, win rates, then that in theory should put the argument to rest. Although not entirely, because one thing I've talked about in the past is the idea, and this is actually from Johnny Pat Canton, an article he wrote a long time ago that I referenced, is the idea of player perception of balance is just as important as actual balance. Meaning, if a consistent complaint about your game is that strategy X is more dominant, and you can show with data that they're all wrong, but it's a consistent complaint about the game, then regardless of the truth of the matter, the perception of the experience is still a balance issue. And ultimately, if your goal is to design a game that is liked by players, it is just as much your job, however hard it might be, to respond and engage with the perception of imbalance as it is to actually engage with imbalance itself. I guess the equivalent of this is, if I don't like your movie, You can spend all day convincing me why I should like your movie. If I don't like your movie, I don't like your movie. Now, you cannot and should not ever try to engage and respond to every individual critic out there. That's a waste of time. You can't do it. But if it's a common complaint, meaning if for example, I love this miniature. It's one of my, the ship was one of my favorites, but this is possibly my favorite. It's a little doggo. Look at the little doggo over here. But for example, if you, where was I? Train of thought. If, 1% of players have a problem with the first worker balance issue, you can't respond and engage and change your game based on 1% of players. But if 25% of players think that getting a worker the first turn is dominant, and if, even after you show them the data or whatever it is, you have not corrected that perception and it's an ongoing concern and perception, then ultimately, the player experience is still negatively affected regardless of how right you are. Being right is not always as important as the perception and feelings on the other side of the conversation. So, anyways, my point is I really like this game, but if you have a problem at 4 or 5 players, I understand that, and I think it's worth trying it at lower player counts and see if you like it. And if you do like it at lower player counts, and you think that 2 and 3 players presents a great game, then at that point it's just an issue of slightly adjusting whatever house rules you need to give you that same 4 or 5 player experience, because I think this game is gold. I think it's incredible. I think it's incredible, is what I'm saying. Which brings us to Twilight Imperium. Now, this is not my game. This is not my game. I got rid of Twilight Imperium a long time ago, and I realized it was not going to hit the table. So I borrowed this game, because I have an insert. I have an insert from Tinkering Paws. In fact, I have a coupon code as well, in case you want to go ahead and buy the inserts. I have a coupon code, I believe, for 5% off. I don't know. You can check it out. But either way, if you do want any Tinkering Paws inserts, they are expensive, but this will save you at least something on them. I've shown a few of them already. I've shown one for the Great Wall in a previous video, as well as one for Zombicide Undead or Alive. But this is for Twilight Imperium, and again, I don't have this game, so I borrowed a friend's copy, and they're walking home with an insert. That also means that if I don't know certain things about the game, bear with me, because I don't know certain things about the game. But this is the insert that we have set up over here. It looks better the further down you go. One thing I'll note about Tinkering Paws is they use these for like their card dividers. Like these over here. In general, this is something true for all the games. They have these like pieces of plastic that are not a full piece of plastic, and that results in 2 things. It results in additional warping, and also just not the best. I wish they used the full piece of plastic across all their inserts. They have such premium inserts that you'll probably want to replace those with something a little better than the way I don't know why they do it that way. Is it to save on plastic? I don't know why. I think they make fantastic inserts. I don't like their card dividers in any of their games. I don't know if I've said that in other videos. I should have if I didn't, because I think they make great inserts and the card dividers are kind of meh. But over here we have card dividers that give you enough card storage solution in case you add this and the expansion and sleeve. So you have enough storage if you had it all sleeved. I don't. I only have the base game, which means I only need this one holder over here. Then we have all the tiles over here. All the tiles in this insert over here. They're all stored nicely in this little tile container over here, so you can have everything available over there. And then we have over here, one second. Then we have over here, we have more tiles over here, more tokens or bits. And again, this does work with the insert as well. The Prophecy of Kings, I believe it's called. If you have Prophecy of Kings, this will all fit nicely there as well. Then we take out the basic stuff. The basic stuff meaning these are your basic Twilight Imperium things over here. And these are your various rulebooks, your learn to play, your rules reference, and your lore compendium, all over here on the side. And then we have this part, which is the main meat of everything. So if you grab one of these, you'll have your, I can't remember what these are called. They're not factions. They're like alliances or something like that. I think these are something. Let's find out what they're called. They're called the, I want to go through the learn to play. They are called not agendas, command, nope, planets, strategies, promissory notes, agenda. Geez, what are they called? Planets. No. Gather faction-specific components. Shuffle common decks. Gather strategy cards. Prepare objectives. There's a term for these things, and now it's bothering me more because I can't find what they're called. There's all these different boxes of stuff, but I cannot find what they're called. Neighbors, transactions, deals, no, none of those. Planetary technologies, none of those. Not called that. It's bothering me. It's a thing. They're a thing. But either way, these boxes full of all these over here, you can have individual boxes for all of these, and these boxes over here, you can go and open them up. You have your cards in the front, the card specifics for that box over there, and then you have your tokens in the center over there. I don't know how well you can see that, but cards and tokens are both in there, stored in each box. So you have all of those available. And again, it has the Prophecy of Kings boxes as well over here. These are just empty boxes for me. You have a bunch of cards and components stored over here as well. And then you have your individual player trays, of which we have 8, because again, Prophecy of Kings could fit in here just as well. But these boxes over here, this is going to give you all your components for those individual boxes. So you have your cards for the faction-specific cards, all the individual things broken down by type over here, and then we have a few extra ships over there, but really the expansion ships go there. This fits on top of that nicely, and so you have all your components for all your factions individually broken up into nice little trays that hold everything beautifully, so you don't have to like sort and bag and this and that. Everything is just sorted out nicely for you. The one thing I'll say about this insert is I do not believe this insert in this box will hold up to your box being stored sideways. Some of the other inserts I've covered on the channel already would hold up to sideways storage. This one, I just, perceptionally, from what I'm seeing over here, I don't think it would. I think it would fall apart way too quickly for sideways storage. Even just the cards. Like, look at the cards over here. There's not enough height to hold these firmly in place. So if you do get this insert, this is not a sideways storage situation for you, at least in my opinion. Make sure you understand that walking in, or you might be disappointed, because I think inserts, it's a tricky conversation. Like, this to me is actually my least favorite insert that they've made so far. I really like I think the Undead or Alive or Great Wall are similar in their quality, and I think they do a great job. There's a lot of time goes into putting things away if you've taken it all out, but they are great inserts. This one is not again, like the fact that you can't store it sideways, some of the things around, some of the complaints around the tightness of the way they fit in the box. I have minor complaints about it. I still think it's a fairly good insert though to speed up your time, although factor in the cost and all of that. And that is basically it. That is your board game upgrades and deluxifications video for the month of October, for the month of September. Until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from BoardGameCo. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one.